Is it time to try something different? That goes for the protests. That goes for our government. That goes for the ICE agents, too. We are now on, well, gosh, I don't know when the initial ICE surge started here in Minnesota, but since the shooting on the street that really escalated things here in Minnesota, it is the 8th day of that, and it feels like every single day has been a flood of news. We wanted to start the show today in a little bit of a different way because Blois Olson, in his newsletter this morning, renewed his call to try something different. And I want to know from you if you think that's realistic, if you think that's worthy, if you have an idea. We want to hear it at 651-461-9226. But Blois is with us in studio today with a DriveTime take. He's the host of Sunday Take here on CCO. I'm with Vanita every morning. Blois, thanks for coming in.
Jason, thanks for having me.
This idea of trying something different, I think is really difficult for people who are really good at getting riled up, showing up to protest, or escalating things with the power of the federal government, calling for the Insurrection Act. I mean, we're sort of in this entrenched behavior that you see whenever anything escalates. Oh, well, now we're going to organize and we're going to rally. And I share your thought that, like, I don't know that paradigm, well, not I don't know, that paradigm is not working.
Right.
So what could we do?
So, I talked to Vanita about this morning, and I want to be mindful, and I want our listeners to know that, I wear a few different hats. And so I want to be as open as I can without kind of violating some of the conversations that I'm having in the community and with leaders. So first and foremost is, everybody says we need to turn the temperature down. You just said it, but nobody seems to try. And so what I would say is the first thing to turn the temperature down would be for our leaders. And the only ones that I think I can speak to directly, other than the President of the United States, is stop talking. Stop saying things publicly. Because in any negotiation, and I've handled a few very tense negotiations over the years, it's when you stop saying things publicly that you can try to build some trust internally. Second, unlikely people from the political sphere and the business sphere and probably the community sphere will need to present some off-ramp to this, that those who have not been quiet, those who have been speaking, decide to accept. I don't think that Governor Walz and President Trump or Tom Emmer or Jacob Frey are going to come up with this between themselves. They have to be presented a solution, and almost like, taking a little medicine in compromise, they're going to have to feel like, all right, this is what's best for the greater good. And it's not coming from the person I've been attacking for a year or three. It's coming from people who I trust. And I think there is that path. I know there are conversations. Allie Kaplan wrote about some of them in her morning newsletter this morning. And I would just say that until the hotheads cool down, that's the work that needs to be done.
I've been thinking today about, like, who are the behind the scenes people who could step up? Because in the way I've been thinking about this is like, who are the grown-ups, who are the adults? Mm-hmm. And it's a tough thing to answer, right? The biggest Republican in the state of Minnesota, who would have the opportunity, I think, to get the president's attention and say, like, hey, this is damaging our economy. This is damaging Republicans' chance to win the governorship, would be Tom Emmer.
Yep.
And the chances of Tom Emmer telling Donald Trump that he should try something different, I guess I just haven't seen evidence that that's something that's
No, I don't think that's the case. I also think that I think there's a difference between what state-based Republicans are thinking and what Tom Emmer is thinking. I think state-based Republicans understand that this is lowering their chances. And I don't know that Washington Republicans think Minnesota is going to flip anything Republican. So
they
why
don't
wouldn't
think
we
there's
do it?
a real chance?
Well, they're just, I mean, again, I think just to the listeners and to you, like when people are hot, they do things because they feel good.
Mhm.
And they think, I'm going to do this. And like, just because it feels good to post or say something, don't do it. I would say that to Tom Emmer. I would say that to the president. But there's this gamesmanship that I've never seen like it any time in my 30 years following this stuff. That is, it's like, I have to go because they said this. And that's why we can't have those voices. I'll say this, and I want to be clear because we've been clear for 7 years of Governor Walz on this, is that the governor chose yesterday to not do a news conference and answer questions in the middle of the day and instead do an address to the state at the end of the day. And in conversations, I thought that might not be the greatest approach. And
why is that?
Well, because it was like, if you're not going to answer questions, then don't add something late in the day, late in the news cycle that gets people fired up at the end of the night. And I was at a dinner and I got a text from a Republican and I got a text from a Democrat, and the response was the same. That was not helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this, we have to say something. I mean, these are politicians. They think they need to say something all the time. That, like, we can worry about the results of this later. We can worry about solving it now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Like, it feels good to be right and righteous and say, well, this is, if you're a Republican, you're taking great joy in saying this is all the Democrats' fault. The Democrats' policies led to this, sanctuary city policy, blah, blah, blah. If you're a Democrat, you love yelling fascist, you love protesting, being in community, all of that. Everybody feels real good. And we are being screwed as the people of Minnesota because businesses are not able to function. If I had a convention in Minnesota or I were planning a leisure trip to Minnesota, I would be canceling it right now. Like, this is not good.
It's not good. It goes layers and layers deeper. So employers who are trying to recruit people to join their company in Minnesota are having interviews canceled.
Wow.
People are saying, I don't think I would want to live there. This could have longer term damage than George Floyd. And so I think we do have to have that lens. I think that's where behind the scenes there is work being done. I think for our listeners to know that we know this is where, like, you come to listen when news like this is happening. And I want, like, give us your ideas because, by the way, nobody's got a patent on all the good ideas right now.
Right.
And we'll worry about who is right and wrong in the months to come. Let's calm this down. Let's get back to normal as quickly as we can.
Do you think Tim Walz's post today, and if you're watching on the live stream, I'll put it up for you. It's on his Instagram and Facebook, but it says, I'm making a direct appeal to the president. Let's turn this temperature down. Stop this campaign of retribution. This is not who we are. Is that helpful or is that nothing?
Too late.
Too late. Yeah.
But
last night,
glad it happened now.
When he said last night, like, go record everything so we can make a database of everything terrible these guys are doing, I just heard that and thought, you're the governor, man. Like, you're not the leader of, like, the, activist, whatever.
So I think that's the larger thing here. The activist voices, and I say this all the time, and I'll say it again, and I'm going to say it 90,000 times more this year. They are paying attention to the noise, but what they really need to do is look at the signals. And those videos that we're all watching, all of that is important, but that's the noise. The signals are, people are saying, I don't like this. By the way, both sides are saying, I don't like this. So stop the noise and take that signal and try to solve it.
Yeah. Text at 651-461-9226. I'll share some of your texts with Blois. We'll show you, I showed what the governor said today. I'm not letting Donald Trump off the hook.
No.
Who started the news cycle today with, if the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE, I will institute the Insurrection Act.
No,
Come on.
again, here's the difference. For 12 years, we've known that would be the president's voice. He's more predictable. I think in Minnesota, we expect different things from our leaders, and that's where the try something different is critical. I had a text,
We can talk to our people. I'm not
Yeah.
going to change Donald Trump from doing the Donald Trump
Here's an
show.
example of a specific issue that I brought up with Vanita that I got a text from a state official just before we went on. The state of Minnesota says it works with ICE on immigration detainers. Would you know that right now?
No.
Would the governor have said that in the last week? No. And so that's a fact that they wanted me to say today. They wanted me to say it louder. And I'm like, well, that's something that maybe could be a starting point.
Why don't you guys say it loud?
Why don't you say it loud?
Yes.